Hi everyone, I'm Pieta Valentine. I've written 2 books, The Resident's Voice from a Dementia Unit and The Resident's Rise from a Dementia Unit. Now, today's session is on a daughter telling her mother that she is in a dementia unit. A very sensitive and delicate topic. Now, families have different ways of approaching this. Often they don't tell their mother that they are in a dementia unit thinking, oh well, or saying, oh well, look, you know, she won't remember anyway, so it doesn't matter. Or, you know, the staff will look after it. They'll tell her, maybe that's best. They're caring for her now, you know, and so they just sort of leave it. But this is not a good idea, because what actually happens is if you don't tell your mother she's in a dementia unit all week, typically what happens, especially when they've just arrived at the unit, typically they're distressed, they're upset, they're angry, they're banging at the door, they want the police, they want to get out, they're distressed. You know, it's terrible, terrible. And the staff, of course, all see this, and it's distressing for other residents as well, but the family don't see it. And often what happens is when the son comes, especially, the mother's so excited to see them that she does forget all about the stress of the week and, oh, her lovely son's arrived and how marvellous is that. And so he doesn't get to see it. He only just gets to see that mum's happy to see him, you know, for that half hour or whatever, and doesn't get to recognise that she's been really distressed for the past week or month or however long it's been since he's not been there. So the best approach is to tell mum in a loving way that she is in a dementia unit, but before that there needs to be a lot of preamble. So I'll give you 2 examples of this that I witnessed at a facility I was working at. So one of the mothers that came in, she was one of the women that came in as a resident. She was very fit. She'd actually been a Scottish dancer all her life, so she was very upright and strong and very fit actually. And, you know, for an elderly person, oh, she wasn't that old, maybe late 70s. Good balance, good strength, good gait, she could run around. Anyway, she was really angry that she'd been admitted. You know, she was at the door and, you know, the police and get me out and like all day. Anyway, her daughter, who was an administrator at one of the big companies in the, you know, at the council in Christchurch, she was pretty astute and caring, but efficient with it. And she had set up her mother's room beautifully with, you know, a lovely colourful quilt on the bed and all the activities that she liked. She had a really good room looking out on the garden. It was sunny, north facing. You know, she had a great wardrobe. She had the radio, everything. It was just like a mini house. And this lady was quite tiny herself, so she didn't feel like it was claustrophobic at all. It was just quite a nice little situation. Anyway, still the mother had been really full on all week and really stressed out. And when the daughter actually came in, the mother had said to her, I think the week before, that she'd been cold. So the daughter had brought in a heater and another blanket for the bed. Anyway, what happened was that she was well looked after and she was well set up. So going into the room directly prior to the visit, the mother had gone through a really, you know, escalated episode of anger and, you know, stress and tantrum and the whole thing. She went into the room with her daughter. Then for half an hour, I don't know what the daughter said, I wasn't witness to that, but when she came out to the kitchen, she came up to me and she said, well, my daughter has now told me that I'm in a dementia unit and that she's here to support me and that I have my room and apartment. Yes, I have that and it's fine. I'm well cared for and everything's good, and she's going to be visiting me, and the rest of the family will too, and everything's worked out. Now, that's what the daughter had said to the resident, and the resident was totally de-escalated, calm, reassured. All week, the staff had been trying to say the same thing to her. You're in a, this is your home now. This is where you have your own room, etc. They'd been saying that all week, but nothing had reached her until her daughter had explained it. Because the love and the connection of family, the love and connection and the reassurance from someone who is there to support you as family reaches us more than anything else. And so that is why it is important for this to be explained to your mother. If you're not a supportive family member, if you don't support your mother, if you don't visit, if you haven't seen her for ages, this won't work, But if you are supportive to your mother, and you do have a good relationship, and there is love and support there, and she knows that. I mean, we all know when someone's there to love and support us, whether we have dementia or not. It's in our tone, our expression, we feel it. People with dementia feel just as well as the rest of us. It's just they can't remember facts, and their present memory's gone, and sometimes their past memory's gone, and there is a mix of symptoms. But the feelings, yes, those marvellous, wonderful feelings, yes, they certainly get that. So that was one example. Then I had another example of a woman who, she was a lovely lady. She'd lived on her own for many years on the family farm with the cat, and her daughter worked for the airlines and lived about 5 hours away, on the car, and I think an hour on the plane, a flight. She didn't come often, but when she came, she was so loving and so kind to her mother. She'd stay half the day. She'd bring in her favourite food and a cappuccino and her partner, and she used to bring in her sketch pad and draw pictures and do little pictures of her mother, of her face and her hand and her, various things around her room. And she'd put up all these beautiful pictures in her bedroom. And she did this lovely photograph board with the cat and the family and beautiful calligraphy of the names underneath it, really attractive. Magazines and perfume and all the little things. It wasn't overdone, but it was just enough. And she told her mother was escalated prior as well, similar to the other woman. Same thing when she explained that to her. And the resident herself again explained to me that her daughter had said that this is where she was to live now. And she was totally settled with it, Really, there were two examples, very clear examples of how to tell your mother in a loving, supportive way, and make sure that, that you've solved the solutions that you can, that you've got the heater there, that she's warm, that she's got her magazine, she's set up in her room, everything's nice. She hasn't got any other stresses to, bring out or sort of escalate about. Everything's in order, if you like. And then when that's all there, then it's the right time. Maybe, a week or two after she's come into the facility to say that is a good time after she's all set up. So this is the way to be able to, this is one way, this is examples of ways to be able to tell your mother that she's in a dementia unit. But residents do like to know the truth. They always say that we need to know the truth. We have to know the reality. Otherwise, how can we know what's going on if we don't know the truth? So it is important to tell them. Okay, so that's it for today. If there's any of your friends or other family members are going through this with your extended family, please pass the link on and the information. Thank you.